All right, all right, all right. B1, B1. All right. All right. How y'all doing? Welcome, welcome. All right. Janeway in the house. All right. Yes, yes, yes. So we are going to get it started here. Welcome to the Beatzilla PDX official show. I am your host, Beatzilla PDX officially. And let's see. Hopefully you can hear me good. All right. Ah, all right. We got Oyele Aket Shabazz. Yes, indeed. We are in the house. Got some people come on in here. Come on in. Yes. So again, please like and share this video. Subscribe to this channel. And make sure you hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I go live or if I upload a video, which sometimes I do. Silent D in the house. Yes, indeed. All righty. Well, let's get it going. So, as you guys can see by the title, actually that needs to be fixed. I don't know why that still says it should be changed. Look at this title here. Yeah, it says, okay, you should be seeing Truthology. On my screen, it's saying something different. Don't know why. But nonetheless, we are going to address critical race theory, or the debate, rather, over it, and just kind of put some things in context. Let's see here. So I have an array of clips, basically based off this subject, and we're going to have some, a little brief refresher clip so I can tie all of this in. Again, you can follow me at beatzillapdx on Twitter, beatzillapdx on Instagram, and melanated people, you can get me at Michael Beatzilla Whitmore, melanated people, and Facebook also, beatzillapdx. And if you have any questions, you can email me. You know what? I'm tripping. Get my banner up here. You can email me at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. That's ourrealtruth@gmail.com. All right. Shine these up real quick. Okay. So, I don't know how much our local news has made it out to everyone abroad, but we recently had a situation in my neighboring county, which is Clackamas County. Like I'm very close. We're, this is what they call the Tri-County area. So Clackamas County Councilman, what's this guy's name? Mark Scholl, which he's been, called out for doing a little racist stuff here and there before. So Mark Scholl, he went ahead and he has a bill. Basically, he's going against the vaccination passports. So he wrote a bill against mandatory vaccination passports, which, I'm not necessarily against that idea. I don't believe anything should be mandatory, of course. However, he made a reference to it being like Jim Crow 2.0. And it's like, well, that's not really the best analogy. However, I want y'all to take note of, and I'm gonna explain how this ties in and why everybody's upset. So this first clip that I'm about to play is from our local news. And again, remember, all of this that I'm playing today ties into the critical race theory conversation. So I'm giving you the race truthology of this conversation. So let's go here.
Clackamas County commissioners have voted to strip one of their fellow commissioners of his responsibilities following a controversial comment. He compared the concept of a vaccine passport to the Jim Crow laws that existed in the South after the Civil War.
It was a heated board meeting today. Fox 12's Simon Gutierrez reports from Clackamas County with the details.
The comments referring to Jim Crow laws were introduced by Commissioner Mark Shull in a draft resolution. Fellow commissioners responded with stern language and a very pointed reprimand. Introduced at the regular Tuesday morning meeting of the Clackamas County Board of Commissioners, Commissioner Mark Shull's resolution stated plainly that so-called COVID-19 vaccine passports would create the conditions of a new Jim Crow 2.0. The resolution would have effectively outlawed requiring people to prove they've been vaccinated within the county limits. Other commissioners called the wording of the resolution insensitive and volatile.
I find this comparison to Jim Crow laws absolutely reprehensible.
I'm very upset by this, as you are, and I cannot support this.
Established in the American South after the Civil War, the Jim Crow laws were named after a derogatory slang for a black man. The laws were put in place to maintain racial segregation. After being admonished by his fellow commissioners, Mark Shull defended his use of language.
The reference to Jim Crow laws has nothing to do with racism. It has to do with the restriction of civil liberties based on a law from a state. That is all.
Arguably the strongest verbal reprimand came from board chair Tootie Smith, who has publicly supported Shull in the past. Shull faced criticism previously, shortly after his election to the board, for what many called racist and xenophobic comments posted on social media.
I have given you allowances, I have supported you, and you should know better. I find this resolution as originally submitted abhorrent and irresponsible.
Following her statement, Smith made a motion to strip Shull of his liaison committee assignments, which passed with a 4-1 vote. Despite the vote and criticism from his peers, Shull stood his ground.
I represent the people who elected me, and that's what I'm going to do, irregardless of what the other board members say. I will not be censored. I will say what I feel, and I will do what I think.
Despite their words and their vote, a majority of commissioners generally agreed that a vaccine passport isn't something they'd like to see here in Clackamas County. That said, Mark Shull's resolution did not move forward. Reporting in Clackamas County, Simon Gutierrez, Fox 12 Oregon.
Yeah, you bet it didn't go forward because against the agenda. So, see, there's a war going on amongst the dominant society factions, and you got to understand, you know, with amongst these different factions of groups, which being liberal or conservative, which, you know, most of us are neither. We need to completely get ourselves away from that system and be our own. Because truth be told, it's about representation. So we need to worry about being represented versus worry about everybody else who refuses to represent us. So what I want to show you right there is, check out how upset they were. Now, do we really get this type of response from these people when it's really actually having to do with us? Notice there's no black people in that room. So do they, what are they really caring about? Do they care that it's a reference to Jim Crow? Or is the problem the fact that, well, we are having this conversation about critical race theory? And here's the truth of the matter. You can actually make a reference to Jim Crow, but you would want to take that part out of the historical part of education. How does that make sense? Because these are the same people that do not want these type of things taught to their children. Critical race theory is just simply history. And one thing that I want to kind of break down this little element. Think about it, information as currency. knowledge and wisdom and understanding is as valuable currency, like a tradable commodity. Think of that. So say your own history, your own personal history. Say that it has the value among the world of, say, oil or diamonds, precious stones of the such, tungsten, you know what I mean? Cobalt. Those type of things. Just imagine if you're worth that. Well, then everything that they do has to make sure that that system is maintained. So you're the battery in the system of white supremacy that makes it work. Just like my previous broadcast, going on to how they literally plan to take our economic power away so they can make us a permanent underclass and nothing but consumers. So that the reason why they're so upset is because what he is saying is drawing light on the truth. It's just simply proven history. So with that being said, they don't like that. Anytime that a person that's going off code for all intents and purposes. So with him going off code, they got straight at him. But trust me, it wasn't for our sake. No, because I want you to remember something. I'll always remember this part. And you're going to see this clip quite a bit.
Chapter, we're doing it for the children, but I don't feel that they are old enough to understand the problem as it is.
Do you think a Negro family moving here will affect the community as a whole?
Definitely.
In what way?
I think that, well, the property values will immediately go down if they are allowed to move in here in any number.
And what of the dream of middle-class respectability? If a Negro family can afford what you can afford, how do you justify your feeling of superiority? What other objections, aside from this?
Okay, that part right there, justify that feeling of superiority. You understand? So, what we're dealing with right now with the debate of critical race theory is the reframing of that whole situation. They basically, at this point in time, don't want to go so blatantly off script, just as they did then. So now they have to work it because times are changing, information age is changing, and the birth rates are low in certain communities, while the birth rates in other communities still tend to flourish, although under constant attack. I guess you could figure out the actors in that play. With that being said, let's just listen to, well, first, let me play you something real quick. Because again, just like that he was going off a code, I want to tie something in for you real quick. Let's see if I can get this up here. Okay.
The master often had a barbecue or a picnic for his slaves. Then they had a great...
Listen to how this textbook describes slavery.
The master often had a barbecue or a picnic for his slaves. Then they had a great frolic. Even while working in the cotton fields, they sang songs. The beat of the music and the richness of their voices made work seem light.
Yikes, that's from History of Georgia, a textbook published in 1954 that was taught across junior high schools in Georgia for decades. That sort of language is part of an intellectual movement called the Lost Cause, a distorted version of American Civil War history that's been prevalent in the South for a long time. It took shape soon after the defeat of the Confederate States in the war, when Southern historians like Edward Pollard and former Confederate General Jubal Early started preserving the South's perspective through their writings. They framed the Confederate cause as a heroic defense of the Southern way of life against the overwhelming forces in the North. That narrative has a few basic tenets: the glorification of Confederate soldiers who died for a cause they believed in, the belief that slavery was a benevolent institution, and maybe most importantly, that slavery was not the root cause of the war. The Lost Cause is one of the most notoriously effective efforts to rewrite history, and it was done by the losing side. So how did it become so deeply rooted in Southern memory? Blame the United Daughters of the Confederacy. The UDC was founded in Nashville in 1894 to preserve Confederate culture for generations to come. The women who made up the group descended from elite antebellum families, and they used their social and political clout to spread the pro-Southern version of the war as real history. You've probably seen their efforts to honor the Confederacy, but maybe you didn't know it was the UDC. They're the ones who covered the Southern landscape with memorials for Confederate leaders and soldiers. They used their fundraising and lobbying skills to pressure local governments into erecting monuments in prominent public spaces like courthouses and state capitals.
Installed here next to the state capitol by the United Daughters of the Confederacy.
The United Daughters of the Confederacy donated this memorial to the city back in the 30s.
They put them along roadsides and in parks. Any place that was remotely relevant to the Confederacy was memorialized. By the early 20th century, the UDC had 100,000 members in chapters spread all over the country, but mostly in former Confederate states. And there's a reason they grew so quickly during that time.
So we're talking about roughly 3 decades after the end of the war, and the Confederate veterans themselves are beginning to die off. So there is this push to find ways to commemorate it, because the big challenge by 1900 was there's a new generation of white Southerners being born, and they never experienced the war years.
That push is visible. Most of the Confederate monuments were erected during the UDC's height of influence.
There's a rhetoric around monuments that we want to get this thing built before all of that generation has died off. And the reason we want it is to teach future generations about those men.
Dr. Karen Cox wrote the book on the UDC, and I asked her if it was fair to say the group established the Lost Cause as historical fact in the South.
Oh my God, yeah. They were the leaders of the Lost Cause into the 20th century, and they made it a movement about vindication.
Just to give you an idea of how effective they were, they successfully lobbied for a Confederate memorial in Arlington National Cemetery, which U.S. President Woodrow Wilson proudly unveiled to a cheering crowd. Now that's influence, right?
Monuments are the least of what they did.
What?
I mean, they are the most visible and tangible, but the work with children was far more influential.
It turns out a central UDC objective is shaping how children think about the war and their Southern heritage. One of their most powerful tools? Textbooks. Take a look at this pamphlet called A Measuring Rod for Textbooks. It was written by the illustrious Southern historian Miss Mildred Rutherford, an educator, orator, and author of Southern history textbooks. She's also very pro-slavery. The pamphlet announced the formation of a textbook review committee.
I mean, okay, so if we don't understand what we just heard there, what we just heard is from the Daughters of the Confederacy. They basically are the authors of critical race theory. How about that? How about that? And understanding that you needed to get it in the curriculum. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. Okay, so can y'all understand what is happening right now? Absolutely, Queen Adia. Aeon size babe. What's going on? Oh man. So, like I'm saying, we have this whole situation here where they're hating how critical race theory is. The truth of race in this country is so racist, but when it benefited them, they were fully on board implementing it, getting a backing from the president. Let's go on, shall we?
featuring prominent Southerners like 5 former Confederate generals. This group was committed to spreading the truths of Confederate history, so they instructed school boards to reject any textbooks that did not accord full justice to the South. And they urged libraries to deface every book in their collection that didn't measure up by writing the words "unjust to the South" clearly on its cover. This pamphlet was shared widely with school boards throughout the South, and UDC-backed committees closely monitored history books to make sure Northern influence never reached classrooms. So the core language of an approved textbook aligned precisely with that of the Lost Cause. You know, stuff like,
"The Confederacy lost in the war between the states, but Georgia never forgot to honor her Confederate soldiers."
History of Georgia was on the UDC's approved list. It was also written by E. Merton Coulter, a self-described Southern historian and historian-described white supremacist.
They understand that how you educate, who wins the writing game, who wins the battle over history, ultimately wins the war. That's the big fight for the UDC.
But their work with children...
Okay, again, did you all catch that? The battle for writing. So meaning the understanding of education and implementing this young. See, it was all good when they was doing it then for anti-blackness purposes. It seems to be all good now for pushing transgender and LGBT issues on children. We see here, it's for a purpose. So by just saying, let's tell the true story of history, now all of a sudden, whoa, 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 whoa. Because now we start explaining and laying down the argument for reparations. I mean, just think about it. 100 years, what's today, the 2nd? So 100, yeah, today's the 2nd. 100 years yesterday. You know, people were waking up to a smoldering city in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Thanks to these people. And people like them. But understanding that the propaganda had to start. See, so again, if it was going on to the children, what are these children doing right now? What are these children doing right now in life? The children in this picture, what do they got going on right now, I wonder? Probably police officers, judges, politicians, you know, somebody, a union head, you know, somebody that can possibly affect your life in a negative way, if a positive way, if they wanted to. But I think with what's being instilled with them here would be clear that they really ain't looking for the benefit of black folk.
Went further than the classrooms. The UDC formed an auxiliary group called the Children of the Confederacy, which was designed to get kids born in former Confederate states to actively participate in their version of history. Group leaders had kids recite call and response truths from something called the Confederate Catechism. Children up to the...
Hopefully you just caught that map. If you notice, the Confederate states also included Oregon and Washington. Yeah, all the way up here, right down the street from me is a Confederate cemetery. I'm all the way in Portland, Oregon. And there's Confederate cemeteries here for the Confederate soldiers. Kid you not.
The age of 18 would compete and be rewarded for memorizing long passages of Lost Cause rhetoric.
So it would be like an after-school thing, you know, like that was your club. You would go after school to the meeting of the Children of the Confederacy, and your leader might teach you songs of the South, like Dixie or other songs that were considered Southern patriotic songs. They would have them write essays.
Yeah, they got a song called 10 Little Ends. So yeah, other songs that might come on now. We know what kind of songs they were singing.
Go visit the veterans and learn this catechism.
Children were also the centerpiece of their community's monument unveilings, like this living flag at the dedication of the Stonewall Jackson Monument in Richmond. Yes, those are school children. The UDC's efforts shaped the identities of children who grew up with the Lost Cause. They made history personal, and that made their story last.
Stonewall Jackson if anybody is old enough to remember when Bill Clinton was making his big push, where did he go speak at? Yeah. Oh man, you know they had a whole thing after school. What they say after school? It was like an after school program, and we sang songs. They was building up a whole. So again, with this mess, they tell people, "Oh, it's so long ago." Man, these kids is. You think this just went away? And these buck broke, brain dead Negroes out here that fall for the sham. All they did was get craftier with the message and craftier with the movement. But if you think that this went away, you are out of your mind.
Longer.
Generations of children learning that narrative in a variety of ways grow up to be, segregationist in the 50s and 60s, because that's been drilled into them since they were children.
After World War I, the UDC started losing steam, but the damage was done. The monuments were in place, and the textbooks they wrote remained in Southern classrooms until the late 70s. And the women's group did it all without the right to vote or participate in politics.
You can still get glimmers of this lost cause memory of the war from people who will always choose to see it through the personal. And I think the UDC, to a great extent, was their goal.
So the next time someone says the Confederate monuments are about remembering our history, just know that that's exactly what the United Daughters of the Confederacy wants you to think.
Away down south in Dixie.
Well, how that one hit you? And see, these are the things that I want to, I was raised knowing. So again, like I encourage people to, if you have like the lady that was in, that just spoke to Congress over about the Tulsa, Oklahoma, demonic racial massacre and destruction of their entire town and generational wealth of Black Wall Street. I don't know why they keep doing that to Ion Mott Bay. I'm sorry, I tore your name up. They keep holding your stuff up, and your words are good. But that, you know what? That's funny. They mess with for y'all that are moderators on these other truth speaking platforms, and where the truth is spoken, and the riding on the head of this demonic entity in this currently dominant society, white supremacy. Everybody tends to get messed with. Why? Because the truth comes out. Because again, you have to justify the feeling of superiority. And that's funny within itself because, we grew up knowing we had to be better just because we were Black. That's not being lazy. That's actually have to be better than. So you're doing the opposite, How many Black folks done killed themselves to prove themselves? And for what? For a bunch of folks that at this stage of the game can't even admit how much they've done you wrong. But, so just listening to what that is, I want you to listen to, we're going to now fast forward and hear the feeling of how now having critical race theory, because remember, the critical race theory that they were teaching, they went full-fledged and put so much, Judah Queen, oh, that is all good. Welcome. But all that energy they put into that, there was a lot of effort to make sure and ensure generations on top of generations had their understanding that they wanted them to have. Now, in this debate of critical race theory, to call it divisive and racist, well, no, your whole education system began on that. So where we are today is to undo it. And you can only undo lies with truth. Now, if you don't want the truth around, well, then I guess that says a lot about who you are. And then we can go back to down to the words and titles and deception, deceivers, the meanings of those words. Oh my Lord. But see, understand, them women, they understood the proper or the value and the property of that education. And that's what I said. Start looking at knowledge as currency. That history, that real true history, that's currency. There's value in that. Because see, when you can speak truth to falsehood and with a receipt of truth, there's really nothing you can do. Nothing but troll. And that's about all that's left. At that point, the argument's done. You could pretty much just, shake the dust off your feet and move on to the next one. You know what I'm saying? And let me get this. So let's play a little bit of these are a little bit of people's arguments and just the sound of fragility, as we say. Check this out.
And my own personal experience as a parent. I'm the mother of a high school senior and an 8th grade son. And my fear is this type of curriculum will actually breed more racism and more divide in our country rather than unity. It's saddened me how I have witnessed my own children lose friendships because their friends make assumptions about them. They tell them they are privileged because they're white, or they are bad people because their dad is a police officer.
Let me say something here. Now, that's interesting. Their dad is a police officer. My child is 17. Kyle Rittenhouse is 17. So she has a 17-year-old. Okay, cool. He's about to go into the world. What's his understanding of life? Again, what did I say? Just again, if you think about it, they were indoctrinating their children with anti-blackness. You understand what I'm saying? So now that, okay, we want our kids to be alert and to be aware. How can we effectively prepare our children if and you best believe my kids already long knew about yours. So if you think that this is something that there's nothing about you that we would have to learn in school. Are you kidding me? Just say me and for the people in the chat, for my viewers right now are in the chat, we're just standing somewhere on the corner. How long before somebody's gonna mosey over there to see what we're doing? We could just be standing talking. Somebody gonna come by and be like, what's going on here? Let me call the police. Look like they doing something. But now all of a sudden people are that we're over here. They look at my children differently now because of all of this rhetoric. Well, then the people that was around you never should have been around you in the first place, and that's a shame on them. But don't ever get it twisted for the rest of us because, lady, we know who you are.
So many of my kids' closest and best friends who were basically like family to us and welcomed in our own home have now totally disregarded my own children as the people that they know they are.
Lies.
The years that they spent with them just based on all the rhetoric that's going around. So
No. Come on, man. Okay. I don't know where everybody else grew up at, but I grew up around plenty of white folks. Don't sit up here and talk that mess that it was somebody outside of. No, it was your children dropping in bombs. What you talking about? So they always do this like, oh man, my kids are so affected, and this is the first time they heard about anything racist, and they shouldn't have to be made to feel that they are inferior. Here's another thing they keep throwing out there, which is absolute crap. The fact that We're teaching our children that they are born to be oppressed. Ain't you bitching? If you think that my sons have ever heard that crap out of me a day in their life, you out of your stone cold mind. I mean, like I would teach my children, I'm going to teach my children the truth. Why would I teach them that they're naturally born to be oppressed? That's not the truth. What are you kidding? I mean, we just are recognizing, because I can't say celebrating, we're recognizing 100-year anniversary of this massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma, to which you've raised $30 million that none of them people have seen. So what did he do? Grade A, USDA, nothing burger. But we do this all the time because we got so many people out here so happy for symbolic gestures and nothing victories. Because if it's symbolic, it's really empty. But these people are fully aware of their future at stake. What's at stake? The power that white supremacy holds. Because this starts teaching truth at real time. Okay? That's what's happening. See, for a lot of black folks didn't realize the game until they were already grown. This is where they have a problem. See, for me, I'm one of them young ones, so I see it coming. So I was fortunate, but a lot aren't. So what this is basically trying to make more of myself, essentially. People like myself, people like Queen Amadai Shakur, people like Tariq Nasheed, people like Jason Black, people like Professor Black Truth, and so many others. These type of people who get out and speak the truth, Yarima Karima, get out here on the real revolutionary tip and speak the truth unapologetically. Because really, what else do we have? So I say again, let's ride with the truth and let them people fall with their lies. Let's hear more male tears, shall we?
So I fear that this is actually taking a step backward because I'd rather empower people in minority groups to rise above and not do anything that's going to create a victim mentality that if you're born a certain way, that you're now not afforded the same options in our country that everyone else is. Because I think.
Well, ma'am, there is something that is afforded to most young black men that most white young men are not afforded to, and that is the death by cop at a traffic stop. But all that sounds nice. Well, maybe not have your whole neighborhood burnt down and then you blow up a whole town and say, well, hey, you don't have the information that just got burned up in the fire, so we can't get your money. Well, then where did that money go? It went to building that bank. Building them insurance companies that weren't paying black folks out. These people, wicked as hell. Don't ever let them sit up here and cry these tears to you like, you didn't tell the truth about us. You are the devil. Anybody doing this, you are the devil. Because critical race theory is just simply telling the truth. What do you hate the truth for?
We live in a country where if you put forth the effort,
dear kisser,
out there for everyone. So that's just as a parent what I'm noticing, and it's very sad.
All right.
Oh, this guy.
So I'm here to talk about this, the American Studies curriculum.
American Studies.
Recent events have brought to light the failure of our education system. And I should have taken this off earlier. The young people we witnessed rioting and looting in some of our largest cities came out of an education system that had taught them to hate America. I think that's really sad.
Why do they keep blaming this on the school? Well, except for this one young brother, the 17-year-old young brother down there in Memphis that got killed in the school? Where are you learning this in school? And what class is that? Because again, remember, you're fighting the implication or the implementation of this specific teaching. So you haven't got it yet. So what they talking about? The rhetoric? Oh, you mean from the dead black men? Oh, gotcha. That's rhetoric. Family, do you see how deep they hate is for you? I mean, man, you better understand that type of hate is perpetual. And by no means, if we are still affected by the trauma from slavery and Jim Crow, how much are they affected from the trauma of their ancestors? Because trauma goes both ways. Shoot, the victor still has trauma, and look at how they acted. Look at all these shootings we having right now. Mass shootings. They can't hold it together to save their life. They killing each other like nobody's saying what's with the white on white crime. I mean, at least with us black folks, you're at least trying to just go get who you trying to get. You don't need to go get everybody on the job and then go back to your house and blow yourself up. But hey, man, what do I know?
The source of the hatred can be traced directly to the emphasis on
there is no
identity
FBA
culture,
in the building,
which separates us into special interest groups.
They're all white.
Each group is isolated from the other by mistrust stemming from perceived grievances and artificial cultural barriers. The class being proposed in this body, known as American Studies, is one that continues the misguided methods of emphasizing the negative differences between American citizens. This country is not a country.
No, the big difference is there ain't nobody else that had anybody in chattel slavery in America, bruh. So yeah, there would be a huge difference there. That would be one. There ain't been nobody to rush in and bomb a whole damn city because you was hating on their money. Because remember, if y'all remember the broadcast I did for Black Wall Street, I showed you the clip of what was really bugging them folks about Black Wall Street. And it was about them black folks' business successes. They were so rich out there having things in about a 35 block area. They was having their way, living. But, you know, just as you hear, like the little clip I always play, how can you justify your feelings of superiority if black folks have just what you got? And in this instance, it's the information. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I said early at the beginning of this broadcast, remember and look at education as currency. Look at that knowledge and understanding and wisdom and the history. I'm going to play a little more of this dude. Let him wrap up and I'll get this jerk out of here.
Racism or sexism or any kind of ism. We are tired of the continual drumbeat of our educational system has used to program our kids into thinking that America is a country of hate and division. It is not. Please vote no on adding.
Okay, let me go.
Choosing to be defeated. This is a crucible called life, and it's the American dream to become everything you can be.
Yeah, now I want to hear.
And yet I feel blessed. I've had the on welfare in the Chicago projects.
Yeah, you got it. You all got to hear this. Goddess Shemaya, welcome. Dan Ruck in the house.
Hello, my name is Linda Bosom, and I want to thank the governing school board for letting me speak today. You know, I grew up on welfare in the Chicago's projects during the 1960s. I faced situations that children should have never even seen before. And yet I feel blessed. I've had these experiences because I've gained determination, wisdom, and grit by refusing to be defeated.
Why was her first reference trying to make her basically her relation to the black experience about living in the projects and being on welfare? Did you catch that? Well, it's like she can relate to the black experience because all black people are on welfare and in the projects, nonetheless.
This is a crucible called life, and it's the American dream to become everything you can be or not. In 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King said, "I have a dream that my 4 children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character."
Ma'am, that's exactly what we're doing. I don't think you've noticed that part. We're not looking at you for the color of your skin. We're looking at you for the color of your heart. What you mean, the color of your skin? Nah, it's not your color of your skin that made you evil as hell. It might be the reflection of you being evil as hell that is reflective on your skin, wearing that mark. But, you know, that just depends on what you believe. But again, over here, we test the spirit by the spirit. So we are testing you by your character. That's why I made a post not too long ago. There are plenty of people right now that wish we would actually judge them by the content of their skin. Because when you start breaking down the character, you don't have to look at the skin anymore. You could see what that is for what it is. And the skin becomes irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? Test them spirits by them spirits. And one good way is ask them a direct question and see if you'll get a direct answer. For those who, if anybody has went back to some of my older 2012 videos, there's one that I call the test. So yeah, I didn't just start doing this yesterday. This platform is newer, but best believe it. So yeah, we've heard enough of her, because I just wanted to make sure that, because they're gonna keep invoking Martin Luther King, which is just so whack. Like in Martin Luther King's you know what? One of the best speeches from Martin Luther King, to where he was pretty much just speaking off the cuff and speaking from the heart, is one about getting our check. And then also another one about being black and proud, embracing manhood, being proud to be a man, being proud to be black. See, these things had to go to the wayside. That's why the people, even now, like, oh man, all this black talk you talk. Well, I'm black first, so why shouldn't I? Now, with that being said, we know that people tend to like to use familiars. That's what we should start calling them. Start calling them familiars. Like the Candace Owens and Burgess Owens, those are familiars. And like this new one, there's 2 new ones that I need to hip y'all to, just for FYI, to watch out for these. This is one, she's probably not gonna catch fire at all, but Fox News is really pumping her up really tough. So just keep an eye on this one here, Miss Chantel Cooper.
Luther King Jr., I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Now I have a dream that we will implement love, not hate, or supporting another Jim Crow's agenda. CRT is not an honest dialogue. It is a tactic that was used by Hitler and the Ku Klux Klan on slavery very many years ago to dumb down my ancestors, so we could not think for ourselves. CRT is racist. It is abusive. It discriminates against one's color. Let me educate you. An honest dialogue does not oppress. An honest dialogue does not implement hatred or injustice. It's to communicate without deceiving people. Today, we don't need your agreement. We want action and a backbone for what we asked for today, to ban CRT. We don't want your political advertisement to divide our children or belittle them. Think twice before you indoctrinate such racist theories. You cannot tell me what is or is not racist. Look at me. I had to come down here today to tell you to your face that we are coming together and we are strong. This will not be the last. Greet and
oh my God. Oh, geez. So again, COINTELPRO, Manutorious Manumission. You throw this one out here to go ahead and start being a talking head for the powers that be. Well, it's divisive. And it's something she said about this is what Hitler and the KKK used. Ma'am? Hitler was in Germany. He wasn't around until the 20s and the 30s. Right? Get that right? We're talking about the KKK, who predates. And not only that, but something she just said. Go back to the other video. When I said that that these daughters of the Confederacy are literally the architects and authors of critical race theory, to that point, she's actually correct. But, well, there's another little part about that, because you also got to understand how feminism even came into being in this country. Guess who was also there? Those very same women. Those very same women. So, this video right here, I'm not really going. I'm just going to show you. Let me keep this on the screen, because I'm going to show you. I'm not finna to play it while he's talking. Is this whack?
This world.
Okay, see this guy here? So I saw this somewhere. I woke up in the middle of the night. And then, also my moderator, Jane Way, also sent this to me. This dude here, and of course his daughter, which clearly is biracial. He has his own take on it. And again, when we talk about dudes like this, the only reason they even talking is because this is about interracial sexual access. So this is a buck broken dude who, can come out here and basically say, okay, I can represent for the straight black man because, well, hey, I'm here with my daughter. Yeah, but you ain't there with your black wife. And not to say that you got to have one, but it would make a stronger case in this situation for this conversation, because I know plenty of mixed children who have no problem with critical race theory or the history. And that's being at the white side or the black side, because the truth is the truth. Again, that's what I said. I don't really get into the colorism thing, but I do get into the spiritual aspect of it. And there's just certain things that can't be healed. Like the soulless dead eyes of Amber Geiger. So let me go ahead and play this dude a little bit, So and here's some of his millennial style, millennial brand Samboing.
Daddy teaches you can be anything in this world that you want to be, right? Don't Daddy teach you that?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you're black or white or any color.
Doesn't matter if you're black, white, brown, yellow, right?
Black.
And how we treat people is based on who they are.
He's singing Father Abraham.
And not what color they are.
And if they're nice and smart.
See, this is how children think right here. Critical race theory wants to end that. Not with my children. It's not gonna happen. My baby's gonna know that no matter what she wants to be in life, all she has to do is work hard, and she can become that.
Work hard, even though you don't know anyone. You can make friends.
Yeah, you can make friends, no matter what color they are. So we need to stop CRT, period, point blank. Children do not see skin color, man. They love everybody. If they're good people, they love them.
We pray for people that are hurt.
Oh, And this video was labeled as he destroys critical race theory. Oh man, the energy of the beta buck broken male man is just so heavy with this one. So I guess his baby mama's daddy or mom must have had a conversation with him. Hey man, you kind of got a platform, bro. Why don't you get out there and do this little talking, man? And you know, because I mean, you wouldn't want your daughter to have this type of experience. Because just, hey man, somebody's looking at your daughter and like she's mixed, so I mean, maybe they'll be looking at her like she's white. Stop. Cut it out. Oh Lord, because again, that little girl's great grandmother might be of
I don't
this
feel that
mindset.
they are old enough to understand the problem as it is.
Do you think a Negro family moving here will affect the community as a whole?
Definitely.
In what way?
I think that, well, the property values will immediately go down if they are allowed to move in here in any numbers.
And what of the dream of middle-class respectability? If a Negro family can afford what you can afford, how do you justify your feeling of superiority? What other objections, aside from the effect of...
Again, I just want to keep pointing that out. How can you justify your feelings of superiority? Oh, Lord. So, again, like I was saying, they have their ways of getting these people out here to do their bidding. And so, just like the one I just showed you, which is Chantel Cooper, we actually had a little interaction. Well, I don't think I did. I think I might have just retweeted it because I wanted to make sure I could do this before I got blocked. So let me pull this up because I know, like, sometimes if you respond, shoot, they'd be like, okay, let me go ahead and get him on out of here. Let's see. Let me get here. So if you saw the picture of the man in the poster for this, let's see, this man here. Look at it. Of course, it didn't share. Let me see if it'll share. Okay, can y'all see that brother right there? So this is Brother Raymond. His name is Raymond Gunn. And there's as the story goes, now he was accused of killing a white woman. Now, from what I understand and what I could research of this story, this man, I don't even know how he was tied to this crime. Because they found this woman and they basically just picked the first Negro and went and hemmed this man up at his house. He was nowhere in the vicinity of the crime. There's no evidence tying him to the crime. They just found an excuse to blame him. And let me see, let me just go show you some of these articles. What they did to this man is burnt him. Victim, so they blamed him for killing this woman here, the victim of fiendish Negro slayer. This is some of that history that they don't want you to know about. No, not that. Mob burns Negro to death on school roof. Just their people, y'all. That's his death certificate. They went to the police station and got this man pronounced death by cremation. They they tied him to or chained him to the top of the school to where this white woman was killed, to which this is what really doesn't make any sense. They burnt him up with the school where the white woman was found dead at. Now, does that make sense to you? Chances are they might have had a relationship. When people found out, somebody probably promptly handled her. Who knows? Because he was married. So you never know. Could have been some tipping and dipping. And when you have such a time frame as black folks was in at this time, man, you get these drunk, rowdy Klansmen and Klansmen sympathizers to come on out here and do this to this brother. You understand what I'm saying? So they literally chained this man to the top of top of this school and burnt him alive. And they was proud to do that. Oh yeah, this is another little part here. And I don't know if I'm gonna be able to really get to this in this broadcast, but I just want y'all to see what you see on the screen. Because this, again, having to deal with these women of the Klan, another person who had a relationship with women of the Klan was one Miss Margaret Sanger. So this is a communication between her and Dr. Gamble of the Procter & Gamble Company. Look at those words that are circled right there. See those words? You see that one up at the top? Negro Project. See, this is 1939 is when the date on this. 1939. The Negro Project. And let's just see what that says. Let's see. Miss Rose sent a copy of your letter to December 6th or 5th. I note that, I can't really read that. What about while to employ a full-time Negro physician, it seems to me, from my experience where I have been in the North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas, that while the colored Negroes have great respect for white doctors, they can get closer to their own members and more or less lay their cards on the table, which means their ignorance, superstitions, and doubt. They do not do this with the white people. And if we can train the Negro doctor at the clinic, he can go among them with enthusiasm and with knowledge, which I believe will have far-reaching results among the colored people. This is just for the Negro Project, which goes back to eugenics. So if you caught what I just said, so yeah, we'll get down to this. What's this part down here? Again, the reason why I got this is because I wanted to make sure I actually got copies of the actual documents. So no one can say that this is a conspiracy. No, it is not. Let's see. The minister's work is also important, and also he should be trained, perhaps by the Federation, as to, as to ideals and the goals that we hope to reach. So again, using the black pastors for their purposes to get their goals. Let's see. We do not want word to get out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the minister is the man who can straighten that idea out if it ever were to occur. If it were ever to occur to any of their more rebellious members. So these are all the parts just components of critical race theory. Just think about that. You know, like literally, that is saying a ton. You dig? And it's also like like Queen Ahmed Shakur always says, it's so nefarious. This is extremely nefarious. I mean, it's wicked as all get out, and you can't get around it. You can't get around it. Oh, good. We got that connection. Good. So, just showing you that. Always keep in mind that I want to show you this new person here. Let's get back there. So, we have a new. I guess they got to trot out a new one because Stacey Dash didn't work out. You know, Candace Owens is failing very quickly. So they kind of went, I think, what I would say, the Nene Leakes way. So you kind of do classy ratchet. That is what that was. You know, it was a hustle basically to get the stripper class some cred among women. Have you noticed that the stripper class right now gets more attention than the actual classy female? That wasn't by accident. That wasn't by accident at all. So with that being said, we have this woman from Florida who is running for, I believe she's running for Senate again. She's already ran and lost. She only got 50% of the vote the last time she ran. But they're still pushing her out here because she is a conservative, just like the Chantel Cooper woman, to whom you can also see on Fox News spewing the garbage.
Respectfully.
Oh, wait. Wrong one. No.
In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., I have a dream that my...
No. Wrong one. Wrong mammy. Sorry. Is this it? I think this is it.
Vern Spicer, welcome to the Democrats' America. Several years ago, I walked away from the lies of the Democratic Party. Let me show you why. This is the part of Miami that Hollywood won't show you. It is the part that the Democrats have ruined through years of drugs, crime, and broken promises. Democrats love to tell you that Black lives matter, but when it comes to actually protecting Black lives, this is what they give you. Crumbling infrastructure, broken families, and starving communities. If Nancy Pelosi and the left really cared about Black lives, they wouldn't keep funding the abortions of over 250,000 Black babies each and every year. Corrupt Democratic politicians never cared about regular people like you and I. You gotta stop believing their lies. While radical Democrats have been busy defunding the police and funding illegal immigration, I've been busy feeding my community. The truth is, my food bank has helped more Black people in Miami than Democrats ever have. Black America, it's time to wake up. I'm Laverne Spicer, and I'm running for Congress because Black lives never matter to Democrats, only Black votes.
So she's running for Congress. Oh, Lord. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he would rather talk to a stripper than, talk to Dr. Claude Anderson. Shoot. Or even give Ice Cube his meeting for that matter. Where the hell did the baby come from? And then to add insult to injury, you understand that was a shot at foundational Black Americans by putting the baby up in there. We had an open discussion about what? Jeez. On. So again, this Spicer lady, what's so funny about her is why she sound like a female Ben Crump. Why does she sound like a female Ben Crump? Conscious outlaw. What's going on, my brother? He said her lace front was showing. Oh, lordy me. Lordy me. You know, so you just gotta keep an eye on these nuts. Because these people they just gonna keep rolling them out there, rolling them out there, rolling them out there. And again, I just wanted you to show you today about some of these women in these movements. Matter of fact, let me show you this other too. Because again, remember the mothers understand how to further white supremacy because they're the nurturers of it. They're the ones that are in charge of maintaining the future of it, aren't they not?
A. Clausen. Sure, I think so. Thanks. Okay. You're welcome.
Now there is a black woman right down there.
Superintendent and parents. Where do I begin with the Peoria Unified School District? The three things I will be speaking about are the public records of emails of the curriculum team, EverFi program in the district with the SAVE contract, and the Arizona School Board Association equity event. In one email of a curriculum coach, Jen Mundy, from an EverFi director, there is a bounty on our children for a $15 Amazon gift card for every teacher who can get one student on one EverFi program. Is that how much our children are worth in Peoria District? In another email to Jen Mundy from a elementary principal, it states parents are wackos with a platform to spread propaganda. Does the administration not view parents as partners? We elect you, school board members. We should be partnering together. We are entrusting our children to you for their education. Are you going to continue to condone administration speaking this way about parents? Why is the administration being told to silence parents? I will not be silenced. Parents will not be silenced. Now, pertaining to the SAVE contract with the program EverFi 306 Continuing Stories and Diversity Foundations, why is this being paid for by the NFL and the Arizona Cardinals? Diversity Foundations was having students complete a survey titled Recognizing Privilege, asking questions about their home life. This is a third-party vendor company that is collecting personal data on our kids. Where is this data going and how will they use it? These programs that the curriculum team wants to use can change without notice, and who keeps track of what is on these online programs? Is the curriculum team going to sneak the SAVE contract with all the unknown websites at the next meeting thinking parents aren't going to pay attention? We're paying attention. Power, privilege, oppression, this is on that website.
Let me show you. Okay, so with that being said, this is what they have a huge problem with. And it makes sense. Let me see if I can. I meant to get this video earlier. But again, understand the Brandon Cruz sings. What's going on? What's going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just wanted to touch a bit on the truth of this. Okay, can we get this cracking? Yeah. So as you can see, they want to get away from the true framing of the truth because it doesn't benefit them. So, I mean, and it's not hard to understand why. I mean, who really wants to be as exposed as they are right now? I mean, because you're talking about fully exposed, you dig? Like, you can't escape what you've done. And now it's a big mission to try to curve that. Okay. Yeah, so there is one more thing I want to play. And some of y'all might have seen this already on Instagram. Oh, and let me also touch on something real quick. The whole Obama thing, again, I can honestly say I didn't vote for him neither time. One of the main reasons I did not, and we actually did fill out the ballots the first time, but something in my wife's spirit was like, no. But one of the things that was troubling me is just knowing how these people operate. The only way they would have a black man in that position is if they knew he was completely on board with team white supremacy. And he proved he was. Because now what can we say about all of this damn hope that we were talking about? He was the president, greatest president ever, and said that because of, well, he didn't say racism or white supremacy, but his white backlash, which, by way, never made it to the face of the Republicans. So he couldn't even come out and say anything as the president and leader of the free world about Tamir Rice and all of these other people, but let them people down there in Florida and Orlando get gunned down. Oh, man, he got something to say right now. But, you know, hey, man. Excuse me. When we're not the top priority, then we are just not the top priority. And it's been proven to us. So I hope that people learn their lesson, because the biggest thing to take away from what Obama said is that he was amongst his own Democratic Party that he felt he couldn't come out and speak on our behalf for. So what that say about Jim Crow, Joe? You think he's ever finna do something for you? Anything that he does is because he's forced to. Don't ever kid yourself. That man don't like you. Come on. All right. That should be up on the screen. Yes. You can see that. Oh, hold on.
White supremacy is wrong. Remove the part of the bill that says white supremacy is wrong. Let me ask it another way. Is it fair
Mr.
to
Tallarico,
say,
you asked me a question. You said, do you plan to concur or not concur? Do you plan to call a point of order on this bill?
I'm only a sophomore, but I do know from my 2 terms that questions come from this mic and answers come from that mic.
Actually,
Is
if you
fair?
look at, actually, if you,
Mr.
actually,
Toad,
let's go back to the beginning.
why would anyone who believes white supremacy is wrong remove the part of the bill that says white supremacy is wrong? Let me ask it another way. Is it fair
Mr.
to
Tallarico,
say,
you asked me a question. You said, do you plan to concur or not concur? Do you plan to call a point of order on this bill?
I'm only a sophomore, but I do know from my 2 terms that questions come from this mic and answers come from that mic.
Actually,
Is
if
it
you
fair?
look at, actually, if you,
Mr. Toad,
actually,
is
Mr.
it
Tallarico,
fair?
if you look at the
Mr.
House
Toad,
rules, we're allowed to have a discussion.
Mr. Toad, is it fair to say that any
do you
bill?
not want to have a discussion? You asked me a question.
Mr. Toad, I know
answered
these
it.
questions are difficult, but you got to do your best to answer them. Is it fair to say that
Let's put the insults aside, Mr. Tallarico.
Mr. Toth, is it fair to say that any bill that strikes language condemning racism is a racist bill?
You're having a hard time answering that question, ain't
Mr.
you?
Toth, we can move on to another question. This bill is teaching certain values. In Section FA1, the bill mandates that teachers teach an appreciation of participating in civic life, a commitment to the United States and its form of government, and a commitment to free speech and civil discourse. But we are choosing, in fact, you're choosing today not to teach students that white supremacy is morally wrong. So we are just teaching some values and not others in this bill. Is that
there
correct?
anything in this bill, Mr. Tallarico, that precludes the teaching of white supremacy?
Mr. Toth, does the bill mention white supremacy?
Simple question. You made a statement, and I'm giving you an answer.
Again,
is there anything in this bill that precludes the teaching of white supremacy?
Again, Mr. Toth, I didn't bring this bill, nor would I ever bring this bill as an educator or a person of conscience. But I want to ask you, do you think that the removal of this clear and simple language condemning white supremacy reveals that the true purpose of this bill is to teach our students a whitewashed version of American history?
No, absolutely not.
Mr. Toth, I just want to, you know that when there are differences between a House version and a Senate version of a bill, that our Ledge Council creates this little handy document that is a side-by-side comparison. You have this?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Toth, when you look at this side-by-side comparison with our House bill over here, the bill that we all passed, versus the Senate's
What page are you
version
on, Representative?
on this, if you look at this comparison.
I'm sorry, what page are you on?
I'm on page 3, but I'm not asking you about
Okay.
a specific page. When you look at this side-by-side comparison throughout the bill, it reads like a how-to guide in historical whitewashing. Are you aware that this new version of the bill from the Senate removes the writings of Frederick Douglass?
I am.
Are you aware that this new version of the bill from the Senate removes the writings of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.?
Yes.
Are you aware that this new version of the bill from the Senate removes the history of Native Americans?
The way the bill is laid out,
That's a yes or no
because
question.
we were very
Mr.
clear
Are you
that we
aware
could
that
not
this
be
new version of the
conclusive
bill
about every single
removes the
document out
history
there that
of
we
Native
could.
Americans?
I'm going to give you an answer. You're not, this isn't a trial. I'm going to give you an answer.
Okay, I'm ready for the answer.
The way it's set out is so that a teacher can go to different documents in different authors by which to teach from. It's by no means meant to be a conclusive list.
Let me just ask you one more time. Are you aware that this new version of the bill from the Senate removes the history of Native Americans? It's on page 3 of the side-by-side if you don't have it in front of you.
Then I believe you.
Okay. Are you aware that this new version of the bill removes mentions of Cesar Chavez?
Yes.
Are you aware that this new version of the bill removes mentions of Susan B. Anthony?
Yes, I am.
Yet the new version of the bill from the Senate, this is not the bill we all passed as a House, but the Senate's version, it still includes the writings of Alexis de Tocqueville, and he's not even an American. Could that be because he's a white man?
Not exactly. And let me respond something to, let me, you brought up Susan B. Anthony. Are you aware, Representative, that Susan B. Anthony was an abolitionist?
Again, I don't have to answer questions about this bill because
No, we're having a discussion here, and there's nothing there's nothing about me in the rules not being able to ask you a question.
From what I can see,
were you also aware that she was pro-life?
Mr.
And
Toth,
that she fought against both slavery?
I know these are hard questions,
and
I
she
really
also
do, but I
fought
need
against
you
abortion?
to try to answer them. From what I can see, the new version of the bill removes all mentions of people of color and women from the legislation. Is that correct?
Big triggered.
Mr. Toth.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So by my count, the new version from the Senate, again, this is not the bill we passed as the House, this is the bill from the Senate. It removes 9 historical figures of color and 6 female historical figures from the bill, which means that all mentions of people of color or women have been removed from this bill. Is that correct?
I'll take your word for it, Representative.
Could an example of white supremacy, which we tried to
it also
condemn
has
this
in here
bill-
the federal, if you look, it also has on here on page 4, it speaks very clearly to the Federal Civil Rights Act of 1964. What was the purpose of that?
Gentleman's time's expired.
Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Tallarico, for what purpose?
I raise a point of order against further consideration of the Senate amendments to House Bill 3979 under Rule 11.
Members, we're not going to have outbursts on the House floor.
Under Rule 11, Section 2 of the House rules on the grounds that the Senate amendments are not germane to this bill, and Rule 8, Section 3 of the House rules, and Article 3, Section 35A of the Texas Constitution on the grounds that the bill contains more than one subject.
Please bring your point of order down front.
Why would anyone who believes white supremacy...
All right. Oh, man. Real quick, not to get off topic, but because I'm about done here, but I just had to show y'all that. What's going on here? Okay, can somebody tell me what's happening here and why it sounds like an African version of the Brady Bunch? What's going on? What is happening here? I'm so confused. Oh, I'm so confused. Oh. Nah, I ain't even gonna play that. Y'all saw that. Did y'all see the girls run out on their bill? Did y'all see that? Girls try to run out on their bill being ratchet, and then had to turn around and come back because they left their damn keys at the table. While the brother over there was actually live. How about that? So yeah, it got caught. Oh Lord. So, again, I think that is about it. Let me get that off of here. Again, thank you for being here with me today. I hope this was another informative episode for everybody. Another, because I want to tie all of this stuff in. I hope that that everything makes sense. I also wanted to introduce you to the new butter biscuit mammy that they are trying to wheel out here. They might need to. I don't know what they're gonna do with her though. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think that happened. That's what. Yeah, it sounds like an African rendition of the Brady Bunch. What's going on here? I'm extremely confused. Oh man, oh man, oh man. So, I had more, but I don't even have to get there because at the end of the day, we understand what it is. We understand how they feel about us. Let's see what is that? Okay. So anyway, we know how everybody feels about us. So we just need to go ahead and there we go. You need to make sure we stay focused on our P's and Q's. You dig? Thank you for everyone that has spent time here with us today at the BeatZillaPDX official show. You can follow me at Twitter, BeatZillaPDX. You can follow me on Instagram, BeatZillaPDX. And you can follow me at Melanated People. Join the family over here at Melanated People. It's a Black-owned app. For us, by us, we're able to speak freely. You know what I'm saying? Able to speak the truth, speak on the subjects that we can't even speak on here. So, with that being said, you can email me questions, show ideas, anything you would want me to look into. You could do that. Send me your ideas at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. That's ourrealtruth@gmail.com. And then, of course, if you feel so inclined to put some money in the bucket, you can definitely do so. And you can do give your donations at CashApp, $Beatzillapdx. That's CashApp, $Beatzillapdx. All donations are greatly appreciated. Thank you for those who have donated already. Thank you for those who donate in the future. We're trying to build something here. And so, I as this platform grows, please like, share, and I'm hoping to come with more and more. I'm looking to maybe start chopping up some of these little episodes so I can get some little clips out as well. But I think with that being said, I got a few things coming. This is my birthday week. So I'm going to do something Friday. Matter of fact, Queen Amadiah Shakur also has a great broadcast Friday. So, we're going to make a day out of it. It's been a week for me, so I've been enjoying myself, enjoying the the mid 40s, So, man, with that being said, you know how we do. Babylon is falling. Babylon is falling. Let it fall and let us rise. You dig? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We will, I probably will be back tomorrow and also Friday. The broadcast tomorrow will be a much shorter broadcast, but definitely I will be here, and then we'll try to get some of y'all up in here in the house on on Friday, and maybe do a little call-ins just to hear from the family, man, and just chop it up. That would be dope. So hopefully, especially y'all in the royal court. So Friday, I want to see y'all come through and come and chop it up with the folks for a minute. So with that being said, I think we're done. Thank you very much. Thank you for all of the birthday love. I appreciate that. Yes, you'll be seeing me tomorrow and Friday, so we will have a couple of days to work with it. And also, with that being said, I'll be playing a little bit of clips from the other night. Those of y'all who follow me on Instagram and Melanated People, we were out with my homegirl, which is a partner of mine in the Doodle Funk All Stars, Arietta Ward. So she was doing her solo show. So we were out there supporting. I, of course, ended up singing anyway, as we do, doing what we do, having fun with the music. So I will be seeing y'all very, very, very soon. Y'all have a very blessed day. And always remember to keep that stone of truth in your hand and cast it at falsehood. Until next time, family. Shalom.
You know who Satan is.
Yes, sir.
You don't have to kill him, no. The stone of truth.
Yes.
See, that's what you throw.
Yes, right.
Allah says, had we wished to take a pastime from before, surely we would have done it. Nay, we cast truth at falsehood till we knock out its brains. Every one of you that knows the truth, stand up and tell it from the mountaintop. Black people can't take it no more. So wherever you are on the job, in the factory, I don't care where you are. If you know the truth, stand up on the truth and tell Satan, who the hell are you to try and pick my friends? Farrakhan is God's man, and you are from the enemy of God. So to hell with you. Stand up on it like a man.